evening and welcome to the latest edition of the Man United Brothers podcast. I'm your host, Curtis McClements, loving life tonight, joined by my co host, Thomas McClements. How
Good
are we, Thomas?
evening, everyone. I am fantastic. Fantastic.
Fandabendoze. Why are you so happy?
Well, we had a little football match tonight, which I was genuinely worried about, and it went pretty well in the end.
Who's playing, mate? Who's playing? Tell me, fill me in.
Man United at Old Trafford
Uh-huh,
versus
uh-huh.
Southampton, otherwise known down in these parts. Again, I'm from Portsmouth, known as these parts as the Scummers.
Well, wait. You're not from Portsmouth, you cock. You
Yeah, but
live
it's
there.
close enough. Close enough. We digress. What I was looking for there as the podcast started was a message at 7:20.
Uh-huh.
Now, for those of you who are eagle-eyed or eagle-eared, you'll realize
Here we
that's
go.
5 minutes after the team comes out.
Yeah.
Message from Curtis to me. 4 words. Ollie can fuck off.
Mate,
So I
I,
just wanted to read that out. So that was just a
uh,
short 3 hours ago. That was before we played Southampton. That was the team was released, and that was Curtis's reaction to it. Can you explain that to me, please,
at,
Kurt?
at that point, right? And I'll stand over it now. Ollie could well fuck off because he didn't play by. He played Fred and McTominay. So he's went with his defensive setup. Now, I'm not. Obviously, we're just 1-9-0, which is fucking incredible. It's just, biggest scoreline I've ever seen us deliver is the same as with Ipswich against Ipswich. So I seen that one too, obviously. Um, but the, the fact of the matter is, whenever he named the team, and the game changed on the red card, there's no doubt about it.
100%. 100%. Well, it's
Albeit,
not even, you can't even say the game changed because the game didn't have a chance to even
well,
get
yeah,
set.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
First of all, it was a disgusting tackle. Really,
Yeah,
really poor tackle
that's
from a
that wee
kid.
kid. That's that boy's debut.
Yeah, I know. I
He
felt
nearly
for him.
got.
I
Yeah,
really
don't get
felt for him. He
excited. Like,
was, without a doubt, he's just got that completely wrong.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was still a red card, and it could
Oh
have been
yeah,
a lot
yeah,
worse for McTominay. So,
yeah.
thank goodness he was all right. But to show the ruthlessness we did, because it's still tough against 10 men. It's never easy. Never
So
easy.
it's funny you say that, right? And whenever we went down to 10 men, now I had a challenge tonight because unfortunately I was on the Saintfield United committee meeting at 7:30, and Davy Morrow and Alan Weir, who will hopefully listen to this, just talk for too bloody long. So I was still on it while the match was on. So I was sort of multitasking, but really just watching the match. But the sending off was terrible, and when I seen it, I kind of went, "This is my." Like you say, my initial message to you in the team crowd was this: is I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy because of how defensive we went. I was then even, how do you explain this? I was even less happy, which won't make sounds ridiculous when and the other team gets a player sent off. But I thought that is the worst thing that could happen. I genuinely thought that's terrible for us because I thought then Southampton are going to sit in, they're going to be really defensive, and we have got our defensive setup, and this just is pointless. So unless we straight away make a change and get Pogba or Donny on, this is going to be a long night. But I was totally wrong, and we actually from that, I don't know whether it was a sending off or to start with, we looked sharp off straight from kickoff. But as you say, the game you can't give it. The game didn't change. It hadn't developed at all. But from the sending off, we were sharp and we were at them, and that's what made the difference. And we were ruthless, which was brilliant to see.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. It's interesting because I'm still not Fred's biggest fan. I think in the first couple of minutes, he tried to make a pass, and we had two men free on the left with Luke Shaw and Rashford, and he's just gone for the long ball, and he's put it literally in between them, and it's gone out for
Yeah.
throw. I'm just thinking, so I still don't understand him as a player, but for me, McTominay has absolutely got himself like he should be starting in that role beside question mark whoever you think it's going to be. But for me,
Yeah.
McTominay's got to be in there. I thought he was outstanding. He breaks play up. He can make the passes right. He can get around. He's probably not as agile as Fred. What I mean by that, he can't get from one place to the next the way
Yeah.
Fred does. But
Yeah.
I think overall he's a better player. And I said it. It might have been after the Arsenal game. It might have been before that. I said McTominay could be as good as Declan Rice. And I'm going to say it now. We don't need Declan Rice. We need to invest more time into McTominay.
Ooh.
That's the way I see that.
I'll agree with you tonight. But you know what tonight was like? Probably because the sending off helps, right? but the shackles were off him. He didn't
Yeah,
need to be a fully defensive midfielder, and that's where you see, in my opinion, a much better Scott McTominay. He attacked. Obviously did his defensive work as well, but he was passing, nice passes as well. He was looking to get the ball in between the lines. It just like, yeah, as I say, I'll just repeat myself. Take the shackles off him and let him go and play a box to box centre midfield role.
yeah, and it fitted him perfectly. And I
Yeah,
genuinely was looking at him. And again, everything we say here has to be. You always have to throw in. I know it was against 10 men, but the
yeah,
fact
yeah,
is, we still went out and done it. You can still play against 10 men and just be too worried about making that pass or going that way
yeah.
or this or that. He just done it. He just stood up and he went for it. So I thought it was outstanding.
But that was my point I was making in terms of I was worried when they went to 10 men because that could have
Yeah,
been the way we played. You know, again, the last two matches, right? The way we played against them, especially that Arsenal match, you're thinking, holy shit, they've gone down to 10 men. This is going to be a lot. I honestly thought if we win this 1-0, we'll be doing well because the way we've been playing. But we didn't. That's not what we did because what happened was, yes, we did two defensive, but then that allowed McTominay, as I say, to have the shackles off and go and play. But what also we done right, and credit to Ollie Ford, he named the right front three. The front
yeah.
three that played in their right positions tonight made a massive. Rashford on the left, different player, completely different player. Him and Shaw down there are unstoppable. I don't care if
Man,
you're against 10 men or 12 men.
I agree. I agree 100%. So first of all, the one person you mentioned there, Shaw, for
Yeah,
me, he is back to where he was before he broke. Was it against PSV? It was, wasn't it, where he
yeah,
broke his
yeah,
leg? He is
yeah,
better than that Luke Shaw. I
yeah,
think this Luke Shaw we're seeing right now, he can get to the byline, he can run past his winger, he can defend, and all of a sudden, and I've never seen it before from him, he can cross.
yeah,
He set up. He had a part in all three goals, not the own goal, obviously, but for the three
yeah, yeah,
goals
yeah.
that we scored in the first half, he had the cross for the first one. He played the ball into Greenwood, who then passed to Rashford for the second one, and then he had the cross for the other one.
Yeah.
He is, for me, the informed player. And last season, I was looking at Chilwell and I was thinking, oh, I would love to have Chilwell whenever Chelsea bought him, simply because of his crossing and his
Yeah, yeah.
assists. I'm looking at Luke Shaw and I'm thinking, he's got to be England's left back. He's got to be England's left back in this form and the way he played tonight. He was outstanding.
I don't want him playing for England. I don't want him going near the fucking shitty English team. He is the best left back in the Premier League right now.
Mate, we don't want to hurt any of our English fans. So
I don't
he
care,
didn't
yeah.
mean that, guys. He
Northern
didn't mean
Ireland,
that.
go on, Greenwood Army. No, but I just don't. What I mean by that is, I don't. I like watching England. I'm nothing against them, by the way. I do want them to win when I watch them.
Backtracking,
But
pussy.
no, no, not backtracking. But what I'm saying is, I don't want him playing for England because I just don't think it helps him in terms
No,
of
I'm with you.
the way they play and how they play him. And anytime he's gone there, it's always been a bit of a disaster. So whilst he's playing well for United, I want him to just play for United, not worry about anything else. But he is, in my opinion, genuinely the best left back in the league right now.
Yeah.
And as I say, you put Rashford down there, and it actually makes him look even better because, as in, it makes Rashford look better because Shaw's giving him them options because Shaw's supporting him in that way. So Rashford then feels more confident, I think. Now, I'll give
There's
credit to Wan-Bissaka on the other side tonight because I thought he played well also
Yeah,
going
but
forward.
before we get on to Wan-Bissaka, I want to touch on that Rashford thing because you said that he looks more confident. They
Yeah,
definitely have a relationship out there that
yeah,
works for them both. They,
yeah,
Sean knows when to overlap. He knows not when sorry to step back. He knows when Rashford wants it on the inside, wants it on the outside. So it's not only that they have that relationship together. Rashford is also more confident on his right. He wants to be out there so he can step in on the right, and that's when he actually uses his left. Strangely enough, when he's out there to make his passing and whatnot. So just together, that should be our left hand side without a doubt. No more messing around with it. Rashford needs to start in the left, and Shaw needs to be our left back. Well, he will be anyway, but it was
yeah,
phenomenal. But yes,
yeah,
on the Wan-Bissaka, I thought you're absolutely right. He was great. For the first time, maybe not the first time, maybe that's harsh, but there's only been a handful of times where he's had the complete package in a game, where he's been
yeah.
tackling well, defending well, going forward well, and crossing well, and he done it all tonight.
He did it all tonight. He scored the first goal, and let me tell you, just on that, the cross from Shaw and Wan-Bissaka coming in the other side, that's something. I hate that they even mention him in this because we just won 9-0, so fuck them. But that's something that Liverpool have been praised for doing the last number of years. One fullback to the other fullback, and teams can't defend it because there's so many in there, and then they're getting the cross in. And all of a sudden tonight, we were crossing the ball in the box loads, and look at the goals we got from it. And that was the first one. So Wan-Bissaka getting forward and supporting, really brilliant, gets the goal from it. And also then, like you were saying, the one thing, he kept attacking, he kept putting crosses in. A couple of times, yeah, maybe could have crossed it better, but he was getting there, and he was being
Mm-hmm.
more, better supporting of the attack and putting the ball in early, which was good. But also not to take away from his defensive side. I think it was given offside in the end, but the tackle he made on Danny Ings, when Danny Ings looked to be clean through, and he came with his right foot, and it was like I'm looking at it going, "Oh, what is he doing? Why would you tackle that foot?" But he won the ball, cleans the whistle. It was brilliant, and it just shows that was you're right all round performance from him, and you're like happy days. That's what you need from him, and that's what you want to see is him keep doing that now, keep doing it, keep getting forward, keep supporting, keep getting the ball in the box when you get the chances. But that was something I think both of them did, Shaw and Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah,
Got the
agreed, mate.
ball in,
Agreed.
crossed the
And
ball.
the other thing about talking about relationships, I thought for me, I know Greenwood didn't score tonight, but that's one of the best games I've seen Greenwood play for us
Yeah,
because he got involved a hell of a lot more than he usually does. He kind of sometimes gets lost out there. And now that I've seen it tonight, I think it's less about him getting lost out there and more about Wan-Bissaka not having the confidence to back him up or not having the confidence to go forward with him. Now that he has the confidence to go forward, Greenwood all of a sudden is getting involved a lot more, and he can play a bit. I always said that I wasn't a fan of him and didn't think he could play. Sorry, not that I wasn't a fan of him. A great goal scorer, great striker, but I didn't think he had the little touches in around the box or
yeah.
the just the play that brings it all together. But now I'm seeing that it was probably Wan-Bissaka's sort of negatives, but he seemed to sort it out.
Yeah, it's funny actually say that because we talked about consistency previously, and we said about how you want your guys to get consistency and a team with consistency, and what that does is allows them relationship to build. That's why Shaw and Rashford have such a good relationship because they played together for so long. And tonight you seen Wan-Bissaka and Greenwood have the same thing. Now, people will continue to harp back to a man less, but that doesn't make a difference. If you've a man, if they have a man extra, it still needs Wan-Bissaka to make them runs. It still needs
Mm-hmm.
Wan-Bissaka to exchange them passes, which is what he was doing this tonight, and that did make Greenwood. It helped Greenwood, as I said on the other side, makes Rashford look better and gives him more confidence. It made Greenwood look better tonight and gives him
The
more
only
confidence.
thing I would say is because of the 10 men is Wan-Bissaka potentially wouldn't push as far forward because they have that striker to fill into the space that he's left behind. So
Yeah,
that's just
maybe.
something. And do you know what, mate? While we're talking about defence, I thought Harry Maguire and Lindelof were poor. I thought they didn't have much to do, but the things they had to do, they done it poor. Shea Adams missed it. First of all, the one he was offside for, that was harsh. And but it was poor defending
Yeah,
to
that
get
was
them into
sleeping.
that
That was
position.
sleeping. That was
Sleeping again at a
sleeping.
free kick.
Sleeping from a set play.
Yeah,
Harry Maguire shouldn't let that happen. It
I
was
agree.
Fred who was sleeping. Fred, look, we're 1-9 You don't want to complain too much. Fred playing left back was fucking stupid, ridiculous.
No, it
I don't get
wasn't.
it.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
It made complete
Sorry.
sense. It made complete sense. So he wanted to give time to Van de Beek, he wanted to give time to Martial, and he wanted to give time to Dan James. So what's the best thing to do? Rather than just throw Telly's in for the sake of it, you could get these are the games you need to do these things. Martial needs a goal. Best time for him to come on, and he took his two goals fantastically. Van de Beek needs game time, and we had said this was the type of game that he came on for, and he done all right. We'll talk a bit more about him later. And then it was okay. What else can we do? We could bring Telly's on for the sake of it, or we could give Dan James some game time, and he took his goal fantastic. Without Dan
Yeah,
James, we
yeah.
don't win 9-0. Simple as that.
Shut up. We'll win 8-0. Get 3 points still. Right. Look, Dan James didn't need to come on. You bring Telly's on. I don't see the point in putting Fred in
Disagree.
there. It just
Disagree.
didn't. It didn't. Well, I didn't see the point in it, and he was at fault for that one. It was offside.
Because
Fine. Fair play
you
to him.
want to give Rashford a rest. Who would you rather get? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, but why? Rashford was rested.
Because
Came
we have a
off
big
against
game. We have a big
Arsenal.
game against Everton.
Yeah, but it
You want
looks like he.
Rashford fresh.
Yeah, well, whatever. Look, you could argue it. I just don't see the point in playing him left back. Go to back three or something and change it up. But
But
it just seemed to not make sense. But I agree in terms of the two centre backs. I don't think Harry Maguire did much wrong. I think Lindelof was a bit off it again tonight. That chance that Che Adams
mm-hmm,
has that he put over the
mm-hmm.
bar was Lindelof was nowhere to be seen. Now Fred probably maybe didn't help with that situation, but Lindelof looks lost, and it's like you've one bloody striker tomorrow. How are you not marking him? That frustrates me. On the other hand, you can look at it and go, that's going to come in when you're hammering a team, and they're down to 10 men, then 9 men.
But it shouldn't. But it shouldn't come
Well,
in.
I agree.
And when it
I
went
agree
down
with
to
you.
9 men, nothing really happened in terms of they didn't create anything, which you would expect.
True,
But when they have
true.
10 men, it's absolutely shouldn't happen. They've one man less to find, which means your central defenders have one man less to defend against or
Yeah.
to pick up. So to not pick up one person, it's absolutely it's ludicrous, really, criminal,
Well,
criminal.
it's criminal, mate. And you know who wouldn't have done it? Eric Bailly would not have done that. He'd have been everywhere.
Wow,
Um,
but to be fair, like yeah, De Gea had nothing to do. So he made a good
yeah.
save from that
I
free
mean,
kick. To be fair
yeah,
to him,
free kick. It's a
mm,
stupid free kick to give away, by the way.
yeah, very silly.
But
Which brings Cavani into it nicely because we spoke
mhm.
about most players who've only missed out two so far, which is Cavani and Fernandes. Cavani for me was outstanding,
Yeah, yeah,
outstanding. Apart from that free kick, because that was the
yeah.
stupidest free kick to give
He
away.
just ran into him. It was no need for it. And
Special reward prize.
yeah, thankfully they didn't score. So I was like, thank goodness. But in terms of Cavani's overall play, that was it. Just shows you what a central striker does.
Hmm.
And by the second half, yeah, they were tired, and Martial got a couple of goals. And credit to him, he did take them very well. But he still doesn't give you that movement and drag your defense around the way Cavani does. And he's non-stop. And his header, even bullet header, maybe should have scored another one. I think where he
Yeah,
almost
he
didn't get
missed
it
it, took
right.
a swing at it, but he's
Yeah,
getting in the
yeah,
positions.
yeah.
I tell you what the difference between him and Martial was mainly, apart from work rate, which is always going to be the difference,
Mm,
when Cavani drops short for it, he doesn't need to take 3, 4 touches to
yeah,
get it under control. He's just one touch off, one touch off. And the many times you do that and bring other people into play and then spin
yeah,
around, and we've got them
yeah,
in the back foot. Whereas Martial comes short, he wants to take a touch, he wants to take a second touch, then he wants to look. And by the time you take that second and third touch, they're back in position. But so
yeah,
that's what was fantastic. But then credit to Martial, he took his goals fantastically, and I think his movement
yeah,
in the box was actually very good. If you see when the ball was played over, his little runs that he made, he timed them
yeah,
perfectly.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Yeah, but that's I think I said this in the last podcast. If you want to bring Martial on when the other team's tiring, then that's when you bring him on,
mm,
and that's what we did. He brought him on at half time, but they were tired already because Cavani had ran them ragged. Whoever
yeah,
was in co-commentary, I can't remember, Robbie Savage, sorry.
yeah,
He was going to give man of the match to Cavani for his
Cavani, you
first half
know,
performance.
yeah,
You
and
know what I
he
mean?
would have
That
deserved it.
speaks volumes.
But
Oh yeah, oh,
I
100%.
think for me though, that's the thing about we'll have to differentiate between saying that Martial doesn't move as opposed to Martial's movement is not like Cavani's. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Because he
yeah,
still moves. He moves a hell of a lot more within the box now than he used to,
yeah,
but he
yeah.
still
True.
isn't. He doesn't have that out and out striker's ability to move the way Cavani does, and I think that's something that, yeah, you can work on it, but it's a skill. Like it's
Exactly.
a natural skill.
Yeah, out and out striker movement is a good way to the way you've said it there. It's natural. It's natural. But all of a sudden, it's something you can't teach. I've
Mm,
watched strikers playing for years. Van Nistelrooy used to be the best at it. He would just be there. He would just always be in the right place. And people, oh, he's lucky. It's not. It's just it's like a third sense to know where the ball's going to end up. That ball might bounce off that defender. I'll stand here. There it is. Tap it in. And that's what Cavani has, that movement. Martial doesn't, but he does move. You're right, in the box more. And he took and it keeps. I don't want to take away from his two goals because they were very very good. But what I would say is the front three that started, the front three will start every time, and then Martial can come on for me probably more down the left if needs be, or even down the right if needs be if that's not working, or as he showed tonight if needs be, and you want to put him on down the middle, then fair enough, you could do that as well. But certainly he's not one to start, but he took his goal as well, and I think Cavani for me. He definitely ran McTominay close for man of the match. I think McTominay just got it because he played the full 90.
yeah, he done fantastic though. I will take this opportunity to say to our listeners, if you've only got three senses, as Kurt alluded to there, where that striker's got a third sense, I'd go to the
That's a
doctor
sixth sense.
because you should have five senses and that's the
It's
sixth
a sixth.
sense.
Sorry, it's
And
a sixth
certainly if
sense.
you've no taste or smell, given the current climate, please
Well,
speak to your doctor. Anyway,
well,
moving
hold
on.
on, hold on. Given Martial's recent performances, I thought he only had at least fucking two senses. Brother.
But so yeah, Cavani was outstanding. I thought Fernandez was brilliant. He was quiet in periods,
Yeah,
but he done what he needed to do, and he still set up
three
what two
assists,
goals, 2 assists and a goal, wasn't it?
two assists, a goal right
Pretty
away.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now I want to look that up. Now you said that, but I thought
It
he
might be
done
three because
really
I thought
well.
he set up Dan James as well for the wee header for Dan James to flick it in. There's not many goals, mate. It's hard to keep
It
up.
is
Like you
hard,
know
man.
what I mean?
It's tough when you get that
Oh,
many goals.
beautiful,
So
beautiful.
yeah, it's hard. I don't want to breeze over Fernandez, but
But
yeah, he done
yeah,
fantastic.
no. He was brilliant. He was much better tonight. He was moving the ball quicker. He didn't misplace passes as much. Obviously, it was a great penalty. And some of his assists, even that one for Dan James, yes, they were down to 9. It was a nice
Lovely
goal,
header, though.
but it was a lovely wee header. It was just perfect, and good finish to be fair to Dan James as well.
Yeah, yeah. And
Um,
what, to be fair, it was a really good finish. I thought he done really well when he came
sorry,
on. I thought he done really
sorry,
well because
sorry.
that's the problem we had with him before. Was we said he's just a speed demon who gets down the line, but I thought he was coming in. He was taking his touch as well. He was giving it off well. He didn't lose it. I was really impressed with him.
No, he was good. He was good, and let me tell you, how do I admit this? I was on Twitter earlier, responding to a guy up the John. You call him. It's an interesting name. But he put his team up right that he
Mhm.
wanted to play tonight, and he had Dan James on the right of where Greenwood played.
Mhm.
This is before the match. In hindsight's a wonderful thing, and obviously we picked the best team ever. But I looked at it and said, "Nah, I've changed James for Greenwood," and he actually said to me, I have to agree with him. He said, "No, but if you put Dan James down the right, you're going to get crosses into the box, and that's what Cavani needs."
Mhm.
And it proved it worked out tonight because, as we've said, Sean Wan-Bissaka did that. But it's actually not. It wouldn't be a bad shout because it gives Rashford on the left, and if you need James to play on the right, I wouldn't be totally against that.
I'm
Although
pretty
saying
sure
that,
he plays on the right for Wales anyway. I could be
does
wrong.
he?
I could be wrong. If
Uh,
Gareth Baker listens to this, let us know. I've seen him
uh,
on the left before, but I'm sure I've mostly seen him on the right for Wales.
Yeah, so it's just now Greenwood done very well tonight, as we've said. So I'm not saying drop him or anything.
Hmm.
What I'm just saying is the guy on Twitter up to John. I have to agree that might have been a good option. It might have worked well, and it could in other games work well because it stops us shifting that Rashford thing, and I
Mm.
think that's key. So. No, he did okay when he came on. He took his goal
Yeah,
very well, and he did everything he needed to do.
yeah, 100%,
Um,
100%.
and then the only one really left who came on at half time and we need to cover off is Donny. I'd
See,
love to hear what you think.
do you know what, mate? It's a tough one because I want to just speak to. I don't see myself as a typical football fan who just looks at what happens when someone has a ball. If you score or if you have an assist, then you're a good player. I look at, which is why I was such a big fan of Jesse Lingard's because his movement was unreal. I just watched
Yeah,
Van de
I
Beek.
think it is.
He was getting into positions, and I texted you at the time. He was getting into positions on the edge of the box, and then he was moving from one side of the box to the other side. But he was in between their centre back and full back each time on each side. And he'd move. The move would break down. He'd drop back. Then he'd be back in that
Yeah,
position. Then I text you and said he needs to drop a bit deeper because he needs to get a foot on the ball and just get a feel for it, which he started to do. He would come back, he'd get it, he'd give it off, and then he'd get into that space again. My frustration was that the players playing the ball into him didn't have the confidence to zip it through a crowd of players where he wanted it into his feet so he could do those little touches. We've done it a couple of times. Also, the other thing I noticed about him was every shot that went in on goal, he was on top of it. He was on top of the keeper, ready
yeah,
for the ball to come back out. So for me, I thought his movement was fantastic. I thought it was brilliant. It's whether or not that is suited, and I'm man enough to admit that because I want to see him play more. I think he adds something to it. I think his movement is incredible. When he has the ball, he looks after the ball. My only question is, does he fit into what United are trying to do? And can he get more game time in a game like this where he can afford to put a player like that sort of on the edge of the box and not in amongst it? Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. So there's a couple of things I have to say about Donny. One, I thought he was brilliant tonight. I thought off the ball he was exceptional. And if anybody who plays football watched just him,
Hmm.
they would be able to understand what I meant. He did not stop moving. He did not. He got into space, didn't get moved in our space, didn't get into our space. He, like you said, he dropped back then in that 6-row, took the ball, popped off, but he straight away. The difference between him and say a McTominay or Fred is they'll take the ball from there, pass it probably to the other team. But if they pass it to our team, they'll just stand there. They stay in that position.
Hmm.
He passed it, moved forward, passed it, moved forward, got into the spaces in, right? And he did it non-stop, non-stop, non-stop. And he tackled back. He made a few tackles. He was
Hmm.
booked for his first challenge, which I thought was probably
Oh
harsh. He got a
man,
yellow card
we
straight
do
away.
need to talk about officiating at some stage, but carry on.
We'll talk about that in a minute. But I have a massive concern. I think there's something wrong with Donny at that club. And what I mean by that is I don't think he's integrating with the other players. If you watch, right, if you watch after Bruno Fernandes penalty, they're walking back up to get ready for the kickoff, and Donny is saying something to Bruno Fernandes, and he just totally ignores him. And now it could be totally innocent, right? But just from reading the body language of that one thing alone, I thought there's something just isn't sitting right with him with the players at the minute. I don't think, and I think that might be part of the problem. And he wasn't the amount of times he moved into them spaces, and you can say players weren't confident enough to slip it into him and all the rest of it. Maybe that's a thing, but when you're winning 6-7-0, it wouldn't really be a problem. There was one point where Mason Greenwood had got it, and Donny had cut round out to the right hand side.
Yeah.
And instead of, and Mason could just passed it out to him, and he was in loads of space. Instead of doing that, he cut in and played it into the crowd. And there's a couple of wee moments I'm just thinking, there's something not sitting right. There's something not sitting right with Donny at Man United, and it annoys me because you can actually see how good he could be, because if he's coming in that deep row, right, picking it up, passing it off, and away he goes, he's not getting picked up. He's not. People aren't picking him up, and his movement is as good as Cavani's when he gets in. And I'm not even joking. He moved 4 or 5 times, non-stop, and he was in space, but no one was getting the ball into him. And maybe I hope I'm wrong, and I hope I'm just reading too much into it and trying to see if I can see something there that's maybe not there. But I genuinely believe there's something just not quite right with Donny at United at the minute.
I hope you're wrong too, because that makes me sad. I'll be his friend. Because I love him. I think he's great. And he's still such a young man. He just seems very unassuming and just wants to work hard. And I don't know. I didn't see an incident, but I'll rewind it now because we've got to pause for Solskjaer chatting. So
watch it back. Watch it back and just see. And you can tell me, you can call me out and say you're full of shit, dickhead, if that's the case. But I just caught it and I just thought, that doesn't sit right to me. And look, you joke there about Albia's friend. It could well be that he's just not integrated into the group. If you think of who he would have integrated in with, it probably would have been Fusa, who's Dutch, who's now gone. So is there something there where he just hasn't? And as I say, I really, really hope I'm wrong, and maybe it's just going to take him another bit longer to get that friendship and all the rest of it. But I don't know. I want to see him play. And to see him play, he needs to build him.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I thought he was fantastic. I thought he done really well. I'll tell you who didn't do really well. I think VAR and Mike Dean. I think Mike Dean is... So first of all, that was a definite red card, that first tackle. But after that, he's so keen to get into his pocket and give yellow cards. He was just giving yellow cards out for no reason. I think he gave Harry Maguire one for his first tackle, which wasn't even... He actually won the ball. It was up on the edge of their box. He won the ball, and I was thinking, okay, I can see why you'd give him a free kick because he got a little bit of the ball, but he got a little bit of the man. It's never a yellow card in a million years. Never, ever. So that bit really annoyed me. There's the free kick that was given against De Gea because Armstrong jumped up with him. That was a free kick, but it infuriates me that that's a free kick, but the one where Sharp pushed him in the back against Sheffield United isn't a free kick. So these officials just need to get their heads on, need to get on the same page. It's insane how they keep getting it so wrong, or their perspective of it is so different.
But you know that the delegates have come back and told Solskjaer that.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I know, and I don't want to go over that again because it's happened, and I don't want to cry over spilt milk because it's done. But and then VAR, like, how long do these decisions take you? How long? Now the Cavani one that he gave us a penalty in the first half, I was saying Stonewall for penalty, his foot's on the line. When they looked at it in the studio and they slowed it down, his foot plants and then slides onto the line. So his foot plants on the ground and then is sliding forward as the defender comes down on top of his foot. So I actually think they probably got it right. What I don't think is okay, so they got it right, but they took so long to do it. And was it a clear and obvious error?
No. There's two things in that. There wasn't a clear and obvious error, and it took far too long to do it. And the second thing on it is, or the third thing actually, I think, is why the fuck was the game stopped? The ball went through the Greenwood.
Yeah.
It was 1-on-1 with the keeper, and I'm pretty confident he would have tucked that away. It was like, well, just let the game go. And if he doesn't score, okay, you stop it because you didn't gain the advantage. Well, actually, in saying that, you let him shoot, and if he doesn't score, you did still gain the advantage that he missed. But he would score, and then it takes away all that.
Wow, Mike Dean's just so keen to get on his whistle. He's
Yeah,
insane.
that's exactly it.
And he just wants to be centre of attention. That last one, the penalty, Bruno Fernandes, the penalty he took, sorry, it was Martial, like a tackled.
Martial. Yeah,
It was a penalty because he did get touched. Now, Martial is on his way down, but he's got
yeah.
touched. Like, it is the new way of playing football in the box, I guess. I don't know if I'm okay with it or not, but it's a penalty.
I don't like it.
I don't know how he gives a red card for it. There's no intent to play the ball. There's no intent to play the man, though. That's sorry. The rule is there's no intent to play the ball. Therefore, it's a red card. There's no
Yeah.
intent to play the man. He's trying to jump out of the way. He's trying to pull out of it, and he hasn't.
Yeah.
He's caught him. He's caught him with his thigh, and then he stepped on his foot. It's never a red card. You cannot give red cards for that.
I think they were watching the Arsenal match against Wolves from earlier, and that's dictated what they've done there.
It's
Because
madness.
that
Like,
happened, it happened with David Luiz as well, didn't it? Now, I haven't seen the David Luiz one enough. I've seen it once, so I haven't seen it enough to sort of make sure to know if that was the right rule or not. But that seems to be where it's gone. He was sent off. I guarantee you they've seen that, and they called him over and said, check that. There wasn't enough in it to send him off. And I said to you at the time, it's a harsh penalty because Martial was on his way down, but he does catch him. So yes, that in this day and age it is a penalty.
yeah,
But I'd still say it's a harsh one. But it's never a red card. I just think the officiating's gone to shit. I hate VAR. The other thing to say about that was, and again, people will go, "Don't be such a greedy bollocks," because we're 1-9-0. But they added 3 minutes on at the end of the match.
I
There was
know.
fucking
I
three
know.
minutes taken for that
At
VAR.
least
How did
at
they only get three
least
minutes?
three minutes. And then there was the Shea Adams one where he scored and they give it as offside.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't, okay,
So
so
they got
first of all, I don't like VAR in general, but I like it for the offsides because it's black and white. You're either
yes,
offside or not. But the ruling that his hand is just in front of Maguire's hand, how is that offside? It's got to be based on a part of you that can score. It's got to be cut down from the torso and the legs. Like your arms shouldn't be involved in it. They've just been happy to change so many rules. I heard a stat today. I was out in the car today and I was listening to Talk Sport. There was 4 or 5 changes over the first 10 years. 4 or 5 changes in regulations and laws. There's been
yeah.
150 changes to laws in the last 3 seasons while VAR has been introduced.
And then they wonder why people don't fucking
How
understand the
insane is
rules.
that? So they even changed that one from the Rodri one where he tackled the Tyrone Mings and he was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
offside. 2 days later, they changed the law.
Actually,
Yeah, it's hard to gather whether it's the law or the regulation, but they've changed the way that they will govern. Do
yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
They've
yeah.
changed it though. How do you do that? How do you do that? They won that game
That's
because of that act. There was no
that's
way they were going to break Aston Villa down. Yes, you can say they
uh,
went on and scored another one. That's because Villa pushed out.
yeah,
Villa
yeah.
would have stayed. They wouldn't have won the game. But yet, two
That's
days later, you
mental.
changed the rule. It's insane. They just don't
Mental.
know what they're doing.
It's mental to do it mid-season. I've heard it changes at the start, in the break and then before the season starts, but to do it mid-season seems insanity.
But again,
But
we
but
digress. This is
listen,
the thing. The
yeah,
problem with winning 9-0 is, and we're so happy about it, but everything else is highlighted so much more, if you know what I mean, because it feels like it was an easy win and we just walked the ball into the net 9 times. It's like, well, look at this. This happened and that happened. So,
yeah.
but mate, it is
Wasn't easy,
class.
wasn't it?
It was
It
class.
was brilliant. One thing I'll say is, if you remember, like, you sent me a thing saying actually has any team conceded 9 goals in two consecutive seasons? I don't think they have. It was definitely last season Southampton
Oh,
conceded nine, wasn't
100%. Yeah, against
it?
Leicester. And then they went on a really
I
good
didn't know if
run.
I didn't know if it was last season or the season before. But what I want to say is, again, in that after that match, that Leicester Southampton match, I think it was you had said to, or someone was saying to, um, I at that point I wanted us to get Johnny Evans back because his leadership and his
Yeah,
drive, and he was screaming at them to get the ball when they scored the eighth.
keep
We want
going.
the ninth. We want the ninth. Yeah. And tonight I didn't necessarily see anyone screaming or shouting about that, but the attitude and the play dictated that we still wanted the sixth, we still wanted the seventh, the eighth, the ninth.
Yeah,
That's what it dictated it because we got the ball. We were playing quick bump passes, quick. It was sharp. It was sharp. It was no slowing it down. There was no, Miranda and about or just happy to win 5-0 or 6-0. We kept going, and that for me was something that was really, really great to see because I don't think we've seen enough of that, and that really pleased me.
I agree, mate. And not just for lip service, not just for the sake of doing it, but to have a meaning behind it. And the meaning behind it is because I was looking at this, I look at this every season. I'm a real stickler for goal difference, even though it very rarely comes into effect or you very rarely need
Yeah,
it. But I'm always looking at it
big
because
one,
it's always
big
close.
one.
We were on 10 goal difference while Liverpool were on 19 and Man City were on 24. We were miles
Yeah,
behind them. That right there tonight has boosted that massively, which could be important, especially because of how close
yeah,
it is. Could be
oh
really
yeah,
important. So,
massive, mate, massive. Now what we need, look, I'll sum up the end of tonight's match. Absolutely superb. 9-0 is delightful. And funny thing is, we're still seeing things that can improve. Be in the defence and getting out by again. But overall, I mean, exceptional, brilliant to see. Cavani brilliant, Shaw exceptional. Then they got rested, and then we brought on Martial, got a couple of goals. Donny, I thought done well when he came on, so it's all good.
mate, what's
Um,
most important though is, yeah, I mean, we've covered all the players and all that, but what's most important is we're keeping the Wolves off us for at least another week. So no matter what Liverpool or Leicester or West Ham are the next closest one, although they're not too close. So Liverpool and Leicester
yeah,
doesn't matter what they do, although we'd like them to lose. Liverpool have
yeah,
got Brighton. You're likely to think they're going to win that. Leicester have Fulham.
yeah,
You just never know with those teams down who are right in the relegation battle.
very
And
true.
then I'm hoping, I'm really
Yeah,
crossing my fingers that Burnley can make it very difficult for Man City. Very
yeah, mate. I hope
difficult.
we do. Sean Dyche special, beat the shit out of Man City and win 1-0. Chris Wood goal, I'd absolutely love
I'd
it.
take a draw. I'd
I love
take a
it.
draw.
Yeah, well, a draw would do, but I'd prefer a win for Burnley, obviously. Um,
Why do you have
so
some sort of
that's the
affection for Burnley?
the affection is if they beat Man City, I'll love them.
I'll tell you a quick story about Burnley. They've got a city up there called Darwin, and I went to Ewood Park. Where did Blackburn play?
Ewood
Yeah, I went
Park.
to Ewood Park and we left and we are going to go on the night out in Blackburn and said, nah, get down Darwin. And I was thinking to myself, it was like being in Australia. It was like being in a foreign country because once we got there, it was just the most insane thing. Anyway, just a night out in Burnley. Ended up at a wedding that night. No one we knew. Just ended up at a wedding party.
Good times,
Yeah,
good
didn't
times.
appreciate it when I tried to dance with the bride. Anyway, moving on.
Roscoe.
Saturday,
Uh,
Everton,
Saturday,
8 o'clock kickoff.
Saturday, Saturday, Saturday. So we're so happy about it now. Probably on Friday I'll be crying, and Saturday when I see the team I'll be mourning.
Put a lot
But
more
for
confidence in
me,
me. I'm a lot more confident going into that game now.
I'm still not, man. Everton could do this. The funny thing is with Everton, we played them in the League Cup not that long ago and beat them 2-0. It was such an easy game. They
Hmm.
did. And it was like Dominic Calvert-Lewin was terrible. Not terrible. He did nothing against us, and I was so surprised. Now they didn't have James Rodriguez playing, who's back fit. But in saying that, it was just a very easy win for us. And I don't know. I after tonight, yes, you want the confidence to be high, and the players' confidence will be high. I still am nervous in any game we're going
Yeah,
to.
but
I think
I was just going to say it's
I
interesting. I watched Everton v Newcastle the other day, and it just honestly, it'll sound stupid, but it looked like they did not like being out there in the cold and the rain. James Rodriguez, I know it sounds pathetic, but James Rodriguez looked like a
yeah.
shadow of himself. Newcastle, a struggling Newcastle who hadn't won in 8 games, maybe 12
And they
games.
beat
It was
them.
something crazy. Beat them 2-0. And it was just, so it was a weird one. They've got a tough game tomorrow night as well. They're playing Leeds tomorrow night. And we know how Leeds like to play, so that could be an interesting game. I might watch
Yeah,
that one. But
yeah,
so they could be coming into us. And it's one of them. I never know if it's good to play a team who have just lost a couple of games because then you're going to get that bounce back. Or do you know what I mean? I wouldn't like
that's
them
what
to
I
go
was
and smash
thinking.
Leeds because then they'll have their tails up. But either
Yeah,
way, we
yeah.
should be going into that confident. We're back at Old Trafford. We've just won 9-0 there. We should be going out there with confidence. And I would be happy. I'd like Barry to start, but I'd be happy to play with Fred McTominay in those Holton Rolls game. But I've a funny feeling he won't leave Pogba out again.
Nah, I'd be playing Pogba. So I would, for me, bring Bay in, yes, 1,000,000%, and then I reckon he will definitely bring Pogba in. I just hope it's in the midfield for, I'd probably say Fred
Yeah,
and keep McTominay in
yeah,
there. I think McTominay deserves it.
100%.
And then keep Rashford left, Greenwood right, Cavani down the
Mm-hmm.
middle. I think that's the way it has to go. And again, Donny did well, but I just can't argue to get him in because McTominay done so well as
Not
well.
right
There is
now.
no,
Not right now. I
yeah,
think he didn't do
yeah,
enough tonight to get in there. Although we said he was good and we enjoyed what he done, we need a bit more
yeah,
than that. We need something. No, we don't need more than that. We just need something different than that.
yeah.
Maybe in the Europa League is where he will really hit the ground running. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. Like I said, I'm willing to admit now that we need something different, but I still think he has a part to play.
I disagree. I don't think we need something different. I think the reason I wouldn't have him starting or be pushing saying he has to start is because of how well McTominay plays.
Okay,
I think he's just getting played out of the team by McTominay because he is physical, is more of a defensive midfielder, but can do box to box and has stepped up his game again to show what he's capable of and what he can do. So if he's keeping progressing along them lines, then I think fair enough McTominay. And I want Pogba because I think Pogba's been doing very well, and I can't see him being dropped.
Mhm.
If he wasn't playing Pogba, I would want Donny beside McTominay.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
So, but he definitely has to keep the front three, and obviously Luke Shaw at left back. I think that's a given anyway because he took Sean Cavani
I
off.
was
It's
just
sort
going to
of
say the fact that those two came off at half time, I think they're the first two
yeah,
names in the team sheet, which is fantastic.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to Luke Shaw getting down that wing against. Does Digne play left back or right back for them?
Digne's left back.
Because I
Their
don't
right
rate
back.
him. Don't rate Digne
No,
at all. I hope Greenwood can get at him big time.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
You don't rate him defensively.
No, yeah, yeah. Defensively, I don't rate him.
Attackingly, he's quite a good wee
He's,
player, you know.
he's bang
I think
average now.
he scored a cracker against us
He
last
scored, so
season.
he
Season
scored one
before.
goal, mate. I scored a cracker once
When?
and then missed two penalties up a hill.
When did you fuck me? I don't know what anybody listen to this from Saintfield United. If you remember that, please get in touch. I think it's absolute lies.
Nah, they all know
Uh,
it. They know. It
the
was
right
it was a
back is
slightly
Seamus
heavier
Coleman.
me, but it was still me.
Yeah, whatever. The right back is Seamus Coleman. So Seamus Coleman's about 72, I
Should
think.
be able to
Same
do him
sort of
for
elk.
pace and get in behind him, like
Yeah,
especially with Shaw
goal scoring.
overlapping. Because Rich
He's,
Charlison is not going to chase back.
I was making a point there. Going fuck off.
Apologies.
He's the same sort of elk as Phil Jagielka, so you just got to run at him. So let's hope that's
Man,
Rashford down the left, get running at him.
don't mention Phil because he made us look like
Phil,
amateurs last time we played against him.
Phil Maldini Jagielka.
Yeah, but yeah, Rich
So
Charlison won't do much tracking back, so I
yeah,
imagine
no,
Shaw will have a lot of time. But then again, see that's good in one sense, but then they could catch us out going the other way, which is again why you
well,
need Bailly in there.
that's I was about to say. The interesting thing will be what team they play, and they play tomorrow night and then Saturday. It's a long enough break. So Rodriguez will play, Dominic Calvert-Lewin will play, Richarlison will play, and then who is your wee man Davis seems to be playing quite a bit for him. I'm not sure if he played the other night against
I
Newcastle.
don't know. He's a funny one. Like
No, he
don't really
didn't.
get him.
Sigurdsson played.
Don't rate him.
So I hate Sigurdsson playing against us. I don't rate him, but against us he always seems to manage to pull something
He'll have
off.
a free kick
But
or something.
I think if Bailly's in there, he can deal with the pace of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and Maguire can beat him in there all day long. And Richarlison's dealt with by Wan-Bissaka. And James Rodriguez, yes, will drift in, but if you've got McTominay there, he's going to deal with that threat. So I think if we have that and keep our front three and just go at them like we did tonight, get Shaw going, get Wan-Bissaka overlapping, then I think we can cause them problems. And the main thing to keep doing is get the ball into the box. Get the ball in the box, keep the movement, and cause
I agree.
problems.
I also think for us now, I think a goal first 15, 20 minutes does. I think that's what we need as a team now at the minute. Get an early
Against
goal,
us, or
no further. We get an early goal, we seem to build into games a bit better. Because we always start those first 10 or 15 minutes, we're dominant, we move the ball really well. And if we don't have a goal by then we'll kind of fall off a little bit and then we invite pressure on. So if we can get a goal early, we'll get the confidence up and then hopefully, touch wood, we won't stop playing. So it'll
fingers
be
crossed,
interesting to
mate.
see how it plays out. I'm really excited for it now. I'm really excited for
Yeah,
it, which I wasn't after the Arsenal game. I was not looking forward to this one tonight. And yes, the red card changed the game, or yeah, obviously made it happen. But we still had to play the way we had to play.
we did, and so no, it's a good win. I just wanted to say to everyone, sorry about the noises there. Thomas was fucking cleaning his screen or his laptop or some shit. Um,
It's
so,
all right though. I
but
don't
no,
hear them, so
yeah, we can hear them. Good win, brilliant win, absolutely superb. Everton's going to be a good game. Trying to stay positive and confident for it. Let's hopefully we get it. And just so for everyone to know, on what night are we on? Tuesday. On Thursday night, I am joining a YouTube channel to preview the Everton match as part of the Man United Brothers hosting team. I'm doing this one. It's Rich Sports. That's RICH Sports 7. I'll post the link out and all, so I'll do that on Thursday night. Just a bit of funny. He asked us to come on, so happy to go on and see if I can share some hopefully useful insight. It'll be a lot more positive than would have been last week. So that's great. And also what we're doing is we've now got a YouTube channel of our own, which is the Man United Brothers YouTube channel. We'll show a link and all that. So we're putting the video up there as well. And we've talked about it early days in the podcast about doing a live video of a match. Would have been good. Well, not when I was on the committee meeting, but would have been good to do tonight because I was happy. But everyone likes me when I'm moaning and gurning, I think I find. So, but we'll see. You'll have to make sure you cover your ears for the shouting and the bad language that
I can say I know one person who doesn't like you moaning and you bitching because I'm sick of listening to it. After growing up with you and then living with you when we had our flat together, I had enough of it. You
love it.
We should. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll at some stage we'll put up a selection of games, and we'll let all our listeners choose which game that we can watch live. It is going to have to be an evening kickoff, I would say, because we'll have to do it when the kids are in bed. Otherwise, you'll see me hitting my kids, and I don't want that. But we'll do that. So at some stage in the coming weeks, we'll get something up and see what people want to vote, and you can watch the match, and it is hilarious. Not so much me; I'm very calm and level-headed. Watching Kurt is the funniest thing.
No. You see, everyone thinks that you're calm and level-headed, right? But you are a dick as well. It's just you
I'm passionate. I'm passionate. You're a dick.
Anyway, look, brilliant night to be a United fan. You gotta enjoy it and love it. Second, let's go Burnley, and then let's turn our attention to Saturday, and let's hope that we can continue it. If we get a wee run going, Man City drop a few points. Are we back in it?
Still in the top 4 fight.
Okay.
Oh, predictions. Mate, I got closest on this prediction.
What did you say?
I said 4-1.
Oh, fuck. Right.
Oh, I got closest, didn't I?
I can't even remember what I said.
You said 2-0.
Well, I was closer because there was a 0, you see, so you know what I mean?
Nah, I win. What's your prediction for Everton?
2-0.
Do you know what? I want to take it seriously. So after tonight, I'm going to say 7-0.
You're such a cock.
No, I'm going to say, do you know what? I think we open them up. I'd like to think we could keep a clean sheet. I don't know if we will. I'm going to go 3-1.
Okay, 3-1. Okay. Well, either way, if it's a win, we'll both be happy, I think.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. So, okay, as I say, we'll share all the information on the upcoming YouTube appearance and our new YouTube channel, which should be fun. You get to see Thomas's ugly mug, my beautiful face. But until then, guys, it's always a pleasure. And of course, let's make sure we remain brothers united. Thank you. Good night. Speak soon.
Good night. Thank you all. 9-0.